Hi, I'm Karen Reardon, host of the Leadership Podcast, where leaders share stories of growth, change, and impact. Our guest today is Eric Neely, founder of The Wealthy Trucker. Eric, thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking. So to kick things off, got a little quick question for you. What's one fun thing you've done recently that's put a smile on your face?
Fun. Let's see. My daughter just got married this last weekend. I found that to be very fun and enjoyable, and it definitely put a huge smile on my face. So,
Congratulations. Wow. Wow. That must have been just a beautiful day for you.
it was awesome.
Amazing. Amazing. Eric, I thought we'd start with a little bit about your background and your business, if you could share some of your journey with us.
Sure. Well, the Wealthy Trucker the name came about because I spent 20 years driving a truck, driving semis. And during that time, I started looking into different options on investing and how I could get out of the truck ultimately. So I went down different rabbit holes. I love listening to podcasts and audiobooks. And so during the course of doing all of that, I ended up getting involved in some apartment real estate investing. And then ultimately I got into the John Maxwell Leadership program just because I was intrigued by the coaching and the consulting element that I utilized when we got into apartment investing. So got involved in the Maxwell Leadership program, ultimately got certified as a coach and consultant and speaker within that. And that's where I'm at today when I launched TWT Leadership and do coaching, private coaching, personal one-on-one coaching, and group coaching. And so that's kind of where I'm at today. I've got the little bit of the real estate background where I own a couple of apartment complexes and really enjoy that. And I think it's a great investment vehicle for people. And I enjoy consulting and helping people get into their own. But outside of that, really the life coaching with a faith-driven focus is the primary thing that I focus on with TWT Leadership.
Wow. Yeah. Well, quite the switch from trucker to real estate investor to coaching, but it seems
a little bit. They're all tied together, but yeah, they are. It's its own unique combination, that's for sure.
Coming full circle, yeah. So how long have you been in the coaching space now?
I'd say I started messing with it 5 years ago, but I've been doing it full time for a year.
So in the 5 years that you've been in the space and in the last year, are you seeing any trends arise?
Oh, maybe with AI coming on, it maybe helps with some automation for marketing, makes marketing a little easier. So maybe that's a trend I see. But as far as what I hear people talk about, maybe a lack of knowing what their purpose is or their calling in life. You know, if we're going to talk about that type of stuff, that seems to be a trend. Loneliness, I hear that a lot, which is ironic because of how connected we are through the internet and through social media, yet people still feel lonely or a lack of friendships. So those are some common things I hear.
Are those from your clients or are those from other coaches in the industry?
Yes.
Both?
I would say both. And just people, I just hear it. Maybe it's just because that's the lane I'm in with the life coaching, but I hear it all the time. And, I even hear it at church.
And is that something that you focus on in your coaching practice to working with individuals who are feeling the loneliness?
I'd say the tagline that I use the most with TWT leadership is purpose-driven leadership or purpose-driven coaching, because I think when you understand your purpose and your calling in life, now all of a sudden it kind of narrows down, like, hey, what am I called to do, and how can I add specific value to this world, and what gives me purpose? When you have that kind of clarity, it just you have the ability to get out of your own way. So I think it's really important for people to understand that.
Right, for sure. That would be a huge hurdle to overcome. And like you said, once you sort of clear that hurdle, the possibilities open up, don't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For sure. And, I think the other thing, what else is powerful in talking to leaders like yourself is sort of hearing what's happening behind the scenes, the highs and the hurdles. You talked about the loneliness and how you as an entrepreneur and also your clients face that. I'm just wondering if you'd be able to share a few examples of what's working well and what's been more challenging in your business so our listeners can learn from both sides.
Well, what works well? I mean, my mind is going to like a marketing standpoint. It's getting on podcasts. It's talking about what I do. It's being real about it, being vulnerable. I'm not a perfect person by any stretch, and I've dealt with my own search on trying to find what my calling is in my life, and that's why I think I'm of value to other people and helping them find theirs. One thing that's been beneficial to me is writing out affirmations and reading them every day, and I find that to be a useful tool for people.
So you use affirmations as a tool, and that's something you also share with your clients. Are there any other tools or systems that you put in place to help people?
Sure. One of my favorite self-help books, if you will, is think of what it's called, The Miracle Morning. That's what it's called. Mm-hmm. And he's got this, Hal Elrod's got this structure called the SAVERS, and it stands for silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, read, and scribe. I've got it written on my whiteboard on my wall, so I'm looking at. So I practice those every day. I try to. I don't necessarily get them all done every day, but I certainly have a focus on it. And the silence is prayer, meditation, reading scripture. The affirmations, as I mentioned, is a useful tool every day. Visualization, really kind of like, hey, what's the perfect day today going to be like? Just today. But you can focus on, well, I guess that's not true. I'll focus on the week, the month. What's a successful day look like, and try to visualize that. Exercise, it's important. Doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and slam weights every single day, but doing at least something, push-ups, walking, running, whatever it is that gets your blood flowing. Then reading, try to spend a little bit of time reading a book outside of just scripture. And then the last one was scribe, where you're really writing what you have learned, writing what you just maybe took away that you're reading, or writing just anything. It just doesn't even matter. Just write. The process of writing just helps get things out of your mind on paper, helps you move away from them, or helps you focus on them. Whatever it is you need to do with the writing, it's an important tool. So yeah, I think that's the SAVERS. That's a huge, valuable tool.
So if you were to answer that question, what does a successful day look for me, with everything that you've said, what would be your top 3 things that would be your non-negotiables to have a successful day?
Networking, meeting new people, I think is one that always makes my days feel like they have been a success. Actually writing something down is nearly always a success. Having a positive mindset. If I can make it through even 80% of the day with a positive mindset, where I'm not focusing on the negative things in life, then I feel like that's been a pretty successful day.
Glass half full.
Absolutely. Yeah. If those 3 things happen, I tell you what, the day, it's almost, I can't even think of a day where it was bad if those 3 things happened, even when bad things happen.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good trifecta to have in your back pocket to make a successful day for sure. On the flip side, what has been some of the more challenging things that are going on in your business?
Negative mindset that leads to just, I can't do this, I'm not qualified, who am I to be coaching other people, look at all the bad things that happen in my life, blah, blah, all the lies that Satan throws at us that makes us think, hey, we're not good enough. And that's why the affirmations are such a powerful tool for me anyway. You're called to do this. You have a higher purpose, things like that really help pull your head out of your butt and get back on track. So, but the days that I'm stuck in that mode, because I won't lie, it happens. Those ultimately are pretty unproductive days.
Is there something going on in your business that is triggering that mindset?
Sure. I mean, maybe one example, I tried to launch a group a couple months ago and had 20 people show up. It was great. We met, worked well. And then the follow-up after that, crickets. Nobody showed up, completely fell apart. And I thought, man, I failed. But, the truth is, those people got good value out of the one time we met. and that was fine. And none of us stuck to it, and we move on. So I continue to build groups, still have success in it, and it's fine. But it does, it feels bad when it happens, and the one thing that I was focused on didn't take off. So that's a challenge.
Mm.
And there's other things beyond that, but anytime I've tried to launch something new and it didn't take off the way I thought, you battle with the negative talk in your own head. And really, it's ultimately lies that are just trying to drag you down and make you not do the next venture or the next group or whatever the next thing is. And you can't focus on it. That's one powerful reason, I think, for having a coach, because when you can sit down and have a conversation, a very purposeful conversation that is either business oriented or life, whatever, if it's focused on the positive things and the goals you're trying to succeed, all of a sudden all the things you failed at are actually behind you, and they're no longer influencing what you do as you move forward. If you don't have that type of consultant or that type of group to talk to, you're stuck in your head. You will focus on the negative all day long, if you're anything like me anyway. And so maybe a long answer to a simple question, but I think that's, yeah.
No, I can certainly appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. It's always disappointing when our expectations aren't met, especially when trying something new and you have a lot of hope for it. So these online groups that you were launching, were they in person or were they online? Or do you do a mix?
I've done a mix. I've done some in person. Got one going online right now. Actually, got a couple going online right now, and we'll continue to do that because they're so valuable. Not only for me, I facilitate them and I get paid to do them, but they're still incredibly valuable for me. It's and obviously they're useful for other people and valuable for other people as well. But
for sure. So do you find one is more successful than the other? Do you find like online versus in person?
They both have their value. There's no doubt about it, because you can get an online coaching relationship, I think, is almost, if not more, useful than in person. So
how so?
Because you can close out all kinds of distractions, and this isn't true for everybody. So sometimes you do need to have an in-person coaching relationship because that's what the person needs. But many times I'm finding the online relationship is more valuable because you can get yourself into a space in your office, shut all the distractions off, and really be focused. And when you're in person, you have distractions around you. For me as a coach, I try not to take notes. I want to be really intent on the conversation. So when I do it online, I can have my note taker up and running, taking all the notes for me. That way I can follow up and not forget things, but during the conversation can be fully focused. When we do it in person, I'm trying to jot down things to make sure I'm not losing track, and ultimately I think it takes away from the conversation. So that's one big pro that I see with an online relationship. That said, some people are not comfortable doing online and they need the in-person. And so when I do the in-person groups and that leads to a coaching relationship, that's what that person needs. So everybody's different in that regard.
Right. So it sounds like you meet them where they are. Yeah. Definitely.
And if you didn't meet them where they were, you wouldn't be a valuable coach.
For sure.
And I wouldn't want to be their coach if I was not willing to do that. So that's
understandable, for sure. So if you had a magic wand, what is one thing that you would fix in your business? And how would your business look in the next 6 to 12 months?
If I had a magic wand, I would take all the media I've ever done and it would be posted out there. I'd be a big influencer and I wouldn't have to follow up on it. It'd just be on autopilot going by itself. That would be the magic wand tool.
I think there's a lot of people who would share that sentiment for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So switching gears a little bit, when you think about your business, you've had your own coaching business for a year now. When you think about growth right now, does that feel clear, or is it still, what feels clear and what feels messy when you think about growth?
What's messy is not a super consistent referral base, I guess, a super consistent client onboarding. That's not where I would like it to be. So that's a challenge, and look forward to that increasing. And it is increasing over time, but just not as fast as I want it to.
Everything always takes a little bit longer than we imagine, right? Probably
Absolutely.
3 or 4 times longer than what we want. So if you solve that problem, what would you like your business to look like in the next 6 to 12 months? What's your vision?
Oh boy. I mean, I would probably be doing some public speaking I'd like to do it every quarter, anywhere in the U.S. I don't care where it's at. I'd like to travel and do public speaking every quarter. I'd have a client base, an online client base that took probably 60% of my time, and then multiple group sessions going that took the remainder of my time, and all remote. I'd prefer to do it all remote. That way I can take the business and just travel with it all over the country or even over the world. So that would be an ideal situation to me.
That's an amazing vision. And it sounds like you're on your way, and it's just a question of getting maybe a few more systems in place so you can leverage your time in a more impactful way, like you said, in that public speaking arena. So as we wrap up here, I just have a question. If you were to give your clients one piece of advice this week, what would that be?
Set some clear goals. SMART goals are a really useful tool as well. If you don't know what SMART goals are, look them up. But it's really establishing something that's measurable and achievable in a short time frame. We can set huge goals for 6 months, a month, a week, and then daily goals to get there. But if you don't have a goal, you're not going to get anywhere. And it's like the old adage about the ship without a rudder. You might have a lot of momentum, but you're not going to get anywhere. That's like it. I like to reference trucks because I drove semis for so many years. If you don't have a destination, you're just driving a truck full of valuable stuff. It's not going to go anywhere useful. So set some goals.
Yeah. It's that roadmap, right? To get to that whatever
absolutely.
destination it is that you've designed for yourself.
That's right.
For sure, for sure. If people want to get a hold of you, where would the best place be for them to find you?
Absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn, Eric Neely, on Facebook as The Wealthy Trucker. I think you can find Wealthy Trucker on YouTube, but you can just go to the website. The website has the links to everything. It's thewealthytrucker.com.
Perfect. Eric, I really enjoyed our conversation today. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your insights, the tools that you use for yourself and for your clients, and the mindset shift that you make and implement on a daily basis. It's been really great having you here. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. It was a pleasure being on here.
Thank you for spending your time with me today on the Leadership Lab podcast. My hope is that this conversation sparked a new perspective or reinforced something you already knew. Until next time, keep leading with curiosity and intention.